Hello, welcome to another glorious freaking episode of Mouth Dancing with your host Young. Thank you so much for listening. Have you guys ever heard of ASMR? It's this thing where it supposedly relaxes you if you listen to it. Like you could listen to the sound of the ocean or just some sort of peaceful nature sounds, like birds chirping and monkeys howling and, pandas frolicking, things like that. Or you could even listen to just someone talking if you like the sound of their voice. I've checked out some of these ASMR videos online and it's kind of weird. It was just someone talking really, really quietly. And it just sounded almost like someone mumbling, and I could almost not even make out what they're saying because they're just speaking so softly and slowly and quietly. And I thought, who would sit around listening to something like this to relax themselves? It's kind of weird, isn't it? Does that really relieve stress in any way? I could see the listening to peaceful nature sounds being really relaxing. If you're just lying in bed and you got that in your headphones, it's probably pretty relaxing. But I don't know if I'd want to listen to some jackass just softly whispering into the microphone, like they're in a library or something, and they don't want anybody to hear them. They're just speaking really softly. That doesn't really do it for me. It also just sounds like the person's really sort of monotone and bored. ASMR vocals are sort of like the lack of any kind of emotion or expression or affect or anything. It's just someone mumbling. But I don't know, maybe that works for some people. Doesn't work for me personally. Just makes me want to tell the person to speak up, to speak more clearly and loudly. I don't like it when people mumble. It's sort of up there with vocal fry as one of the most annoying speech patterns, I think. But then you go in the opposite direction, and you have the way 80s stand-up comedians talked, which was just completely batshit crazy. They would tell a really fucked up joke, probably something really racist or sexist, and then they would start making all these weird grunting and weird strange noises think of someone like Bobcat Goldthwait or Sam Kinison. Even Eddie Murphy did a little bit of that stuff. 80s stand-up was just bizarre. It's almost just not funny in any way. If you go back and listen to it, it's just really sort of makes you cringe, I think. I don't know. Are there any fans out there of 80s stand-up? I mean, it's not like there was just one kind of stand-up comedian back then, but it seems like the biggest, most popular guys were like that. And people just ate it up, too. The crowds loved it. They thought it was the funniest shit they'd ever heard in their lives. There's always a nice medium, right? You got the ASMR, soft speaking, mumbling type stuff. And then you got 80s stand-up. They're both extremes, right? The way I talk is the perfect balance between those two things. That's why you listen to this podcast all the time. Does anyone else hate YALL? For some reason, it really bothers me when people say YALL. You see it on social media a lot too when someone wants to sort of scold people. They're like, y'all blah blah blah, y'all been doing this or something. And it really bugs the shit out of me for some reason when people do that. I don't know why. I think it's because for me, people who say that are from the South. And I didn't grow up talking like that. We would always say you guys, or what are all of you doing? We would never say y'all. but it seems to have become more popular and to have spread outside of that region of the South. So it's not just like people from Texas or Georgia or Florida who say that. It's like just people everywhere say that now, it seems like, in America. At least on social media. I don't know if I've heard it in person that much, but people on social media really like to do that for some reason. I think they think that it makes them sound more authoritative and more commanding, maybe. And I don't like that expression, y'all, or that term. Just makes me think of someone with a really twangy accent. And it makes me think of really shitty country music. Like, it makes me think of new country music, where I think they seem to exaggerate the southern accent. Y'all, what are y'all doing, y'all? Oh god, this sounds so bigoted, doesn't it? I'm just judging a whole region of people. But yeah, that bothers me. I don't want to brush off all southerners like that either. That seems pretty racist, or I don't know, narrow-minded, I guess. Maybe I just need to get used to it. I think if it's natural to you the way that you talk, like you grew up talking like that, it's fine. I don't like it when people adopt it on social media to make themselves sound stronger, or to make people listen. Because it always comes off as fake. I think that's the thing that bothers me about it. It comes off as really contrived when people do it on social media and they're not from the South. That's what it is. You ever see guys with gigantic backpacks? Or just men with backpacks in general? That seems really common, doesn't it? Especially if you see, let's say you go to a downtown area where there's a lot of office workers. This happens a lot in like America or Western countries. You'll see adult men with backpacks. And they're usually really shitty backpacks too. They're like nylon. Like, they look like school bags almost. Or like college kids' backpacks. And it just looks really tacky to me. It looks like an overgrown teenager. When I see a grown man with a backpack, it's really funny looking for some reason. Unless they have a really nice backpack. Like a designer backpack that's made of leather and it's really well crafted and has a cool design where it's not just a square shape with, zippers on it. But I think it's people in America tend to have a weird hang-up, the men do, about using bags that are smaller than a backpack or anything that you like sling over your shoulder. Like, oh, is that a purse? Oh my god, dude, your bag is not gigantic like mine. That must mean you're, feminine or something, or gay or something. Why don't you have a gigantic bag like I do? But sometimes a gigantic bag is just inappropriate. Like, you just have a few small things to carry around, like a water bottle and maybe your phone or something. Why would you have a full backpack strapped to your back for that? It's totally stupid. But American men can be so weird about it and insecure, like they'll shame you for having a man purse. Even some women join in on this. Like, oh, look at that guy, he's got a purse. He doesn't have a really tacky, gigantic backpack strapped to his back. It's really funny too, because they usually have it strapped really high on their back too, which makes it look even funnier. Makes them look so, I don't know, like I said earlier, just like overgrown children. And they usually are wearing, I don't know, they probably have their shirt tucked into their slacks, or their, I don't know, maybe their skinny jeans. And it just looks goofy. Backpacks just look stupid for some reason. Like 90% of the time. But people here insist on using them. I mean, if you're a school kid or a little kid, it makes perfect sense and it looks normal, but adults should put more thought into the bags they use. Because it really can completely change your whole appearance. Like, you could be wearing something really cool, but then if you have this really nerdy backpack on that's really tight on your back, really high up on your back, just ruins the whole thing. I think tech workers do this a lot too, with the really high on the back, sort of tacky looking backpack. God, I sound so judgmental again. I don't care though. I'm not gonna apologize for it. Cause the flip side of it is people making fun of someone for having a smaller bag, especially if it's a guy, and saying it's a purse. That is way dumber than making fun of someone for their funny looking backpack. Anyway, I think that's it for this week. A lot of ranting and raving, wasn't it? Those are just the topics I came up with this week, though. It's not always going to be like this, you guys know that. If you've been listening, you know that I'm not always ranting and raving about backpacks. Sometimes I talk about cool stuff that makes you happy and cheerful. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. See you next week. Bye.